Wow. Hello, everybody.
Hello, good evening.
That startup is amazing. You've done absolute wonders on there, Horlicks. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was
Yeah, it
brilliant.
didn't take too long either, really. But yeah, I was playing with some new effects and just pushing myself a bit more, doing something a bit different to the norm. Um,
Wow.
and it was originally all in colour, and then I changed it to more of a grainy, old-fashioned look because
Yeah,
it's an old vehicle. And then
absolutely.
obviously the burst of colour at the end. So.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Right, first off then, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the chat a bit different to what we've done in the past. So mostly we're going to get modeling and we're going to have a look at our models and our bits and pieces and seeing what we've got to do. I've just noticed there's lots and lots of people in the chat there. So hello, Merry Christmas to you and a Happy New Year to you as well. So yes, we are doing this live tonight and it's the first one of many. All being well. So it's a joint project between me and Horlicks. And as you know, we've both got this model and we're both going to be building it. There's no time scale. We're just going to enjoy ourselves and hopefully you'll enjoy watching us as well. So, and hopefully if we can share some tips or hints and tips, or if you can share some hints and tips, that would be helpful to us as well. So yeah, that would be great if you could. So we'd better carry on a little bit then, haven't we, Horlicks? So what have you got? What model have you got?
So I have got same as you. We're doing the EMHAR Bedford OSB.
Yeah,
So it's the
fantastic.
5-ton recovery truck in a 1/24 scale. Oh,
Yeah,
camera, there you go. So yeah, when you showed this on your channel, well, it was last year, wasn't it? I
oh
saw
yeah,
announce it and I fell in love with it and I was like, oh, that's a really nice model and I wanted to do it. So I got one as well. And I've done bits and bobs, but not a lot. And then I thought, right, coming up to a new year, let's get this done. So I did have ideas of putting electronics in it, which I might, but I think what I'm going to do is just build it first and
yeah,
then see what happens and see if I
yeah,
can bolt anything on afterwards.
yeah,
But I'm not too fussed. I thought I said to Dave, oh, let's, because I know you're doing this model as well. I thought, well, let's do a live stream, just chill out, crack on
yeah,
with it. It's not going to be really a tutorial. It's just going to be a natter and a
yeah,
model. And I
yeah,
think I feel more comfortable with you being there doing this same model as well, because
yeah,
as you know, I'm very new to these plastic kits, really.
yeah,
Yes, I've done my mini, which is on the shelf. It's parked up just there.
yeah, it is.
And I did have a few mess ups on that. So I'm really trying not to on this one. So yeah, that's
I mean,
it.
to be fair, you've probably done as much as what I have because I've done a few models, mostly partwork models, as you know, because obviously I've got the one of the buses behind me. And I've done one or two little models like in the cabinet up there. So, and I've done one or two of the army vehicles in 135 scale or 132 scale, 132, 135 scale for my Lancaster diorama, which I'm going to be doing on the Northern Model Builders show. So, and this is by no means a breakaway from the Northern Model Builders at all, because the Northern Model Builders will be going ahead in the new year as normal. And yes, I will be joining them as normal. And yes, I'll be doing just a different project than this. So obviously, this is just like a sideline project, if you like, not a breakaway project. So yeah, and it's mainly so we can kick each other up the backside and say, let's get on with it, let's get it built. As you know, it's easy just to store a model in its box, and say, oh, I'll get to it one day, or I'll get around to it, as we say in Yorkshire, and finding around to it is quite difficult. So, or around to it. So, this is why we're here today. We're going to actually do something and crack on with these models as much as what we can. And as you know, I got 2 of these models gifted to me, and I've got the whole lot. I've got all 4. So I've got the other 3 as well to do. And the long wheelbase one, if I can get my finger pointing to it, the brown long wheelbase one there, I want to get another one at some point because I want to scratch build a OWB, a Bedford OWB wartime bus out of one of them, so which I'm hoping to do sometime later on in the year. So there's no time scale on this model at all, is there, Horlixs?
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
And if one of us gets in front of the other, then one of us gets in front of the other, and it's not too bad at all. So what are we going to do now then?
Okay, so right, well, I'll just say hello to everyone who's joined quick. So we've got the likes of Dean. So hello, Dee, Eric, Warren. We've got Anfield Road layout in the loft here. Hello. We've got Kenneth here. They're all saying hello to each other, so you can hopefully see that in the chat.
Yeah.
We have David Bassett here. We've got Ian Campbell in.
Hi, Ian.
Yorkshire Crafter, David Martin.
Yeah. Hi, David.
So yes, Alex Demetrius is in. Good evening.
Yeah.
Wishing us a happy Christmas, and we've got Peter Webster in as well.
Jolly good.
So yeah, lots of people joining us for this. As I say, we'll pick up bits and bobs of the chat, maybe as and when, if I wait something to buy or something, but we're not going to go through it because it takes too long. Just to say hello, goodbyes, and
we want to get on with our models. Sorry, chaps, we want to get on with our models. So we'll do enough chatting, I suppose, when we're gluing and sawing and sanding and painting and goodness knows what. So yeah. Okay. So shall I go on my camera first? Okay. Well, I'm gonna, by way of doing this, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do with all my models once they've been built. So I'll just change my camera, and then we'll go cameras down for this one, and I'll show you what's what on this one. Come on, webcam. There we go. So, right. So, as you can probably tell here, we've got a Bedford OB dual coach. So, dual bodywork coach here. And this is a metal model, mostly metal. This is through the company called Sunstar. Now, I have not only got this one, but I've got another one squirreled away. And I've got a couple of Rootmasters. And I've got a car, which is also in this scale. So this is 1/24 scale. Okay. Far smaller than the Rootmaster, of course. But as Horlixs said earlier, what we're going to be building is this model. And we're going to be building it in the 1/24 scale, as it says at the top there. So 1/24 scale, and to prove that this is 1/24 scale, here's a wheel already made from that kit there, and it fits exactly over the front wheel there, and the same with the back wheel. They fit pretty much exactly over the back wheels on there. So that's the 1/24 scale. Okay, so in other words, for every 1 inch of the model, there's 24 inches of the real thing. Okay, and that's whatever you're building in scale-wise. So, and as you know, me and Horlixs from before with the Rootmaster, the Rootmaster is actually 1/12 scale. So that's easy to fathom out, but this is a little bit more difficult to fathom out because obviously for every inch on the model, it is 24 inches on the real thing. So you've then got to calculate whatever that is on the real thing. So I can tell you that this model is 11 3/4 inches long, this model here. And the Bedfords, the next one we're doing, this one we're doing, the Wrecker Wagon, is actually shorter because it was a shorter wheelbase. Okay, and it says that on the box, and that's what the SWB is there, short wheelbase, O series 5-ton recovery truck. And the Bedford, I mean, obviously that's the make, that was made in England, in Vauxhall and what have you. And it's the model O, it's the short wheelbase, and it's the B type. Okay, so these came out roughly the 1940s. So from 1946-7 onwards until about 1952. So did the Bedford O series wagons and buses. And I can tell you that they are a straight 6 petrol engine. So that means it's a straight 6-inline 6-cylinder engine. And it's got a 4-speed gearbox and a reverse, of course, and springs, like cat springs for the suspension. So very primitive, but these Bedfords got us through the Second World War and afterwards, and right up until the 1960s. They really were really good workhorses, were the Bedfords. So I think I've explained that enough, have I? What about you then, Horlixs?
Yeah, so that's introduction. That's brilliant. So I've just been working on the wheels. I mean, I did this morning. I painted these 2 wheels. I painted these 2 wheels probably 3 months ago or so. I think it was on one of the Northern Model Builders shows.
Oh yeah,
and then that's all I could manage to get done. But so I really picked up pace today, and when I got back, I painted the rest of these wheels up, just to sort of get the same sort of level as Dave there. Dave done a bit more than me, but as I say, it doesn't matter. We're just going to go as slow as it takes. But yeah. I've managed to get the wheels done. I've just glued them together, and you'll notice that we've got slightly different ones because I've gone per the actual model, and I've got black centers, which was a right pain to actually do. But saying that, I'm really, really, really pleased with my result. Considering I'm not the best at painting, but this is like gloss. I'm using actually Rootmaster Red, the Tamiya X7.
Yeah.
And it's gloss, and look at the shine I'm getting, and that was only brush painted.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
So I'm really happy with how they've come out. I took my time. It's taken me nearly all day in and out of editing the intro. and that'll be the spare wheel, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's as far as I've got. And then tonight, I've washed these. I haven't primed any of these, but tonight I'm going to glue the engine together, ready for priming. And then after that, which is step 1, because I sort of went ahead to step 4, I think, when I did the wheels. I can't remember where I did the. Oh no, step 2 was the wheels and the chassis, but I did the wheels first. But I'm going to do the engine tonight, and then if there's time, I'm just going to carry on and try and glue the chassis together as well, so that can all dry, ready for priming. Then I can prime them and then paint them before moving on to the next bit. So ideally tonight, I would love to get the engine done and glued and setting, and the chassis glued and setting. That's what I would like to achieve tonight.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a little bit ahead of Horlixs. I've got the chassis built and the engine built, and done all the wheels and tires. And then you can instantly tell that mine are completely different. I'm going for a completely different look, and that's because I have not got black in the centers. Okay, and I think I'm going to stick with this look simply because I can remember that certain Bedfords that I've seen where both there was black in the center, and then sometimes there were body color in the center, and sometimes they were just red or black or whatever's. So I know that there was all sorts of colors, so I'm going to actually stick with the red centers, red wheels, red centers, and that sort of stems back to this model here, this Sunstar model here. Look at the back wheels on here. You'll find that the wheels are completely all body color, and the front ones have got a nice hubcap on, and they're all body color as well. So that's how I'm going to leave mine. And I'm going to move on to the next stage, which is putting more bits and pieces onto the chassis. So I've already built the chassis and sprayed it, and I've just bobbed a couple of bits on it, like the springs, for instance. But the springs want painting, so they're just pushed on there at the moment. So I've spray painted my bits, and I spray painted the wheels. I did my wheels with the Tamiya red, which is a TS8 Italian red, and I did the chassis with the TS14, the black from Tamiya. Once again, the spray paint on there. Now I'm going to use the Tamiya paint to brush paint some extra bits onto the chassis, which I'm going to glue on off my sprues later on tonight. So I want to get, if possible, stage 3 done tonight, if possible. And stage 3 is the front springs on the chassis, the engine bolted to the chassis, the tank straps and the little bits on there, the exhaust manifold, the front axle and steering gear, and then the prop shaft, and then the rear axle, the rear springs, and several bits and pieces, including the battery and the running boards. So I'm going to try and get them bits done tonight on stage 3. So as well as try and talk to you guys.
Brilliant. And actually, it's worth mentioning as well, those of you who haven't seen this model, these tyres are actually real rubber. They're actually rubber tyres. You can see that they flex. So that's a really nice thing about this model as well.
It's a really nice touch, isn't it?
And it's got the tread on it.
Yeah, it's got lovely pattern tread on it as well. And they're patterned to be, not radials, cross pliers. The pattern to be cross plier tyres, so which would be correct for the period in time, cross plier tyres. So there's the engine for this one, and I just simply painted this by hand, bits and pieces on it. I don't want to do any weathering on it. I just want it to look similar to the engine that's already in this one. And I think I've showed this on a previous stream. So if I open the bonnet and try and lift that up to the camera, because the camera never lies, you might be able to spot in there that it's got a red and a black engine with silver bits, and hopefully this has got red and black and silver bits on it as well. So it sort of mirrors that engine that's in there, and hopefully if I'm mirroring this one, then it won't be so bad on the finish, hopefully. So you'll also notice that this has got like opening doors, and it's got opening roofs and opening bonnet and such like. Well, our model won't have. Our model will be just static. The bonnet will be static. The crane bit might work. There might be some bits on the crane that work. I'm not sure yet, but I'm not sure how the wheels are connected to the axles yet. But we'll find that out later on in the series, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to move that out of the way just for now, and then I'm going to see if I can crack on a little bit with some bits and pieces on this chassis. Okay. I'm quite excited about getting this done, really. I've been looking at the others and thinking, yeah, I really should get on with the others and get them sorted if I can. Oh, I've got to find my pens as well, haven't I?
Yeah, you need your paint.
Yeah. So I'm going to need the black, which is the Tamiya X1 in black for hand painting. Then I'm going to need some metallic silver, I think, for the exhaust. So yeah, I'm going to paint the exhaust as well, all being well. And then I'm going to need some brushes and some starers, and hopefully, and perhaps a bit of luck as well. Yeah, I think it'll probably be that brush. No, that's too big. It's probably... That's that one I've got out already. Yeah, I've got it to the other side of the table. So I want a starer. Good old coffee starers.
Yes, I got that advice from you. And,
good old coffee starers for paint starers.
I'll tell you what else I do as well. Whenever in the summer, I had some ice lollies and I washed and kept the sticks.
Yeah, that's a good idea. They apparently will make good pallets for the Eddie Stobbard wagon, I think. Well, ice lolly sticks, won't they?
Mm.
So I promise you guys in the chat there that we will read the chat after the stream. So thank you ever so much for chatting. But this is more about building and more about seeing if we can get on with these models as much as we possibly can. We do love you guys with chats, but we also love modeling as well. So, right. I'm just going to show you guys a couple of the sprues that we've got here. So the familiar Bedford front there, the radiator grille, the bonnet tops and the bonnet sides, and the scuttle piece there, and the wings, so the front wings, and the front bumper, the front dashboard, and the doors. Yeah, scores on the doors. And then we've got the headlight bulbs as well there. Okay, so just to give you some idea of the scale, if I did that with my finger for the bonnet there, you can see the bonnet front, and so that gives you a good idea of the scale. So you can see that them wings are a good 2 inches long, them wings. Okay, and yeah, so there's a sprue. And another sprue, and there's some of these that I have actually painted with grey as well, which is a bit difficult to pick up on this camera. But I've used the yeah, what have I used, Horlicks? I've used the fine surface primer for plastic and metal, light grey Tamiya spray for this. It is absolutely fantastic sprays, this. So yeah. Tamiya, you've done a fantastic job on that for certainty. So not that they're giving us anything, but yeah, Tamiya, you are absolutely fantastic with that fine surface primer.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff. To be fair though, I've got the same stuff, but at the time of me buying it, it was really hard to come across.
Yes.
But
I wonder if that could have been
good.
Go on. I wonder if that could have been to do with lockdown, perhaps.
Everyone wanted it, yeah. But I have
got So on this sprue then to cut out, we've got the rear springs, and they're there. So the 2 rear springs. And I think there's the prop shaft here and the head of the prop shaft, and some corner bits for the chassis that I've got to cut out as well. And then on this sprue, which I did earlier, which I'm not very happy about, but this is one of the reasons why I wanted to show you when some things do go wrong. So, right, this is a sprue that I sprayed up earlier, and originally I sprayed the grey primer after washing it all, and I've obviously sprayed my wheels, which were all in this part of the sprue, and then I've been spraying some black parts as well. Unfortunately, what I didn't do with this sprue, I didn't tape it all off. You can probably see that this bit's been taped off here, and that's because I've experimented with this bit here to tape off that bit of the sprue. Okay, I wish that I taped off the other bits of the sprue, because as I've been spraying, the spray paint's caught the rest of the bits, and even though I was painting red, when I was coming through to these bits that should be black, there was a slight coating of red on them. So I just thought I'll just give them a slight coating of black on them, and it's slightly reacted on some of the parts, and it's run on some of the parts as well. So it's okay. You can obviously paint it out with the paintbrush, but if you was looking for that extra special shine and what have you, I strongly suggest that you tape off the parts that you want to paint in a different color, and then you paint the rest of your bits that you need in black or whatever colors, and then untape your bits, take these other bits off or tape them bits off, and then spray them bits separately. So, and by taping off, I mean something like some wide masking tape. So we've got wide masking tape like that, the 2-inch stuff. You can get masking tape anywhere, and just put some of that over it, and you can guarantee it'll save. Just pop it over there and stick it on, however, to obviously stop the paint getting to the other bits that you need to stop the paint getting to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there's a handy little tip for you. Right.
So with your engine then,
yeah,
did you just glue the pegs, or did you put more glue on it?
Okay. So on the pegs, I actually glued the pegs, and then stuck the main part of the engine together.
So you didn't put any extra glue on, you literally just did the pegs and that was it?
Yeah, but my glue is, now this is a new type of glue that I've got, but I'll show you the old type of glue that I've got, and I'll show you. Yeah, that's the one. So this is what I normally use. This is a CA glue, cyanoacrylate, or whatever you call it. So it's a super glue. It costs £2.25, and there's 20 grams there from Boys, or Boyses. We call it Boyses out this way in Yorkshire. So or Boys. So this is an MX bond, and it's 60, and it says surface intense, but it's a medium type glue. And I was once told by an old master to use medium rather than the thin or the thick. Okay, so there's generally three types of glue: the thin, the medium, and the thick in super glue. And so the medium generally is for pretty much all purpose, any purpose, and the thin generally means surface intense. So you've got to have two surfaces that actually hold together, that you can actually glue them to. The medium, you could have it just a little bit out, and you could have the medium glue like in between, and the thick glue can have a wider gap where you can glue in between, and the glue will glue to each side of whatever you're gluing. So thin, medium, and thick glue, and I chose the medium super glue, or CA glue as it's shortly known, and it's £2.25 from Boys. That's where I get that from. But I'm going to try this one. This one was also told to me by an old guy who makes models all day long. And it's Zappa Gap, and that is medium CA glue as well. So it's gap filling formula, bonds virtually anything to anything, works on oily surfaces, and obviously danger, it bonds skin to eyes and eyes to skin, etc. So obviously try and keep it away from anybody such as children and people who are not used to using glue. So, or just glue the bits for them. And so that's called Zappa Gap. So I'm going to be trying that as well. But that's a medium CA glue, which is my trend of my glue that I always go to. and I've never ever had any problems. Apart from, I think Geordie Dave says I'll probably end up with problems when I do start the Airfix 132 scale London B-type bus. So because there is, you have to have the proper UO type glue or the elderly type glue instead of the modern CA glues, because the plastic won't take to it. So I hope that was a bit useful. But I've also just reminded myself as well that I need a little glue pot making. So, and just as a temporary glue pot, I'll just use some of my old tape, and I would put that to one corner somewhere and just make a delve in the tape and glue it down. And so I make a little pool just to put my glue in, and then I've also got some. Well, these are toothpicks actually, but yeah, cocktail sticks. I bought them as toothpicks from Pound Shop, and there was 3 of these tubs for £1. Thought, well, that's good.
Yeah, so I tried to use. I did test it and try to use the. Hang on, let me just glue this in, and then I'll show you.
Okay. So I've just picked up on the chat there. We'll try and pick up on these little bits if we can. So Alex Demetrius says, I'm thinking of collecting these trucks myself. I've had many Conquer trucks from the 1960s and 70s and regretted selling them. Yeah, I pretty much did the same. The only problem is, Alex, is that these are obviously plastic kits. And unless you was on about obviously the Sunstar ones, you know, the Sunstar ones are pretty solid. But this has actually got lots and pieces broken off it. And this one I bought very, very cheaply off a famous internet auction site, so about 10 years ago, something like that. And I've been wondering what to do with it ever since, but I'm going to make it into like a little diorama, I think. So yeah, very worthwhile collecting things like this, and especially if you're into model making, Alex, as well. Was you going to say something about that, Alex?
Yeah, so I was going to use this extra thin cement stuff, but it doesn't seem to be working very well with this. Well, it didn't with the wheels anyway, and they all fell apart.
Yeah,
I left it probably 20 minutes, and they just weren't sticking. So I've not.
Yeah.
I've gotten the only stuff I've got is the super glue gel, which I use for other stuff, which I do like, but it is very thick.
Yeah.
So I'm actually.
It probably. Oh, you glue it, yeah. Yeah, is that like a medium glue?
I think it is. Yeah, it's quite. It's not runny. It's medium, but to be fair, I know some people swear by this. I haven't had much luck with this, but on this, it seems to be working rather well.
Yeah.
So that's good because I can use it, but we'll see how it goes. And the other thing I was going to say is that I'm really confused at the moment. Because I've pulled this off, the sprue, which is B9.
Right.
Double check it. It was 9.
There is. I was going to say there is 2 bits to that. Where's my instructions?
Yeah, 9 was here. So I took that off.
Yeah, and you want B10 as well.
And B10, yeah. I've done that. So B10 I've glued in. There it is.
Okay, right.
Great. But these bits are in the way. I'm not, but they weren't connected. Part of the sprue.
They need to come off.
They do.
Yes, them ones with the round widgets on, they need to come off. So there's one either side of the peg in the middle, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if you look at your instructions, you will only have a peg in the middle and a peg on each outer end. Them other two, they want to come off.
Right. That's fine, because I was just getting confused because obviously I cut the sprue off. It was on like that.
Yeah.
So to me, there was no need for them to be there.
Yeah.
Unless that's for a different model.
No, that's no. It's actually a problem with this kit more than anything else. Is that is a signature to this kit all the way along. So I'm just bringing this up to show you. This is accentuated, but you can see on the edge of this board here that there is 3 lugs. Okay, and that's similar. All them 3 lugs want to come off. That lug wants to come off there, there, and all the way around. All them lugs want to come off because that board is just one board with no lugs on the outside.
Right.
In the instructions. So carefully look at your instructions and look at your parts, because you'll find the bit like this triangle bit. I know it's difficult to see, but this triangle bit, these 2 triangle bits here, you've got a nodule on the end here that needs to come off, and one on the end of there that needs to come off, but it's also attached to the frame here, so it needs to come off after that nodule there and that nodule there.
Oh, I see. So yeah, it comes off there.
So, yeah, so obviously you've got to be aware of what bits are where with this sprue, the way the sprue's being made.
Okay, that's fine.
No, that's okay. That's absolutely okay, because I learnt exactly the same thing.
See, I looked at the mag, and I was going to cut them off. I thought, well, no, I'll just check, because I don't want to start lopping things off if I've done it wrong or something,
Yeah, of course. So while we've been chatting, my lovely wife's been in and she's given me a little glue pot. But unfortunately, this little glue pot, it will end up absolutely useless, because obviously once the residual CA glue gets on there, it'll just stick and it won't come off. So what did I do with my cocktail stick? It's there. Okay, so as always, guys, look at your instructions carefully, look at the parts you want to stick on, and test fit that the parts actually do stick on where you want them to go. So I'm looking at these front springs, and I'm looking for something that's different to the front springs, either side of the spring, front and back, and it all looks to be pretty much the same. So they've got a lug on the front and a lug on the back, and I'm just looking now on the instructions as to exactly where they go, and I do believe they go similar to this. Let's see if it'll go in that way. No, will it not go in that way? No, let's try it the other way then. So it goes in that way, yes. And let's just try the other one, make sure that pops in the right place. Looks like the thinner pin goes at the front and the thicker pin goes at the back. So I want to try and get these right, because obviously this is going to be making your axle straight. So I'm just going to try and see if they sit nicely on the chassis before I do any gluing. Okay, so that's the front springs. Now they do both have a slightly inward bend on them. So I want to look at the instructions again to make sure that they have just a tiny weeny bit inbound. I'm thinking I might turn them round. Because I think they might go the other way around. But yeah, just notice the cutout, and the cutout goes inboard. Okay, so I have them exactly the right way around. So yeah, we've got a cutout there and a cutout there, so they want to be on the inside of the chassis. They're the right way up. Okay, so I'm going to actually glue them now. So we'll have that one done first. And a bit of the old CA super glue on the ends. Was you knocking there, Horlixs?
No.
I thought you was knocking.
Oh.
I thought somebody was knocking on your door.
Aware of.
I was going to say, you're not going to start me singing again, are you? I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. So I hope everybody's had a nice Christmas, and I hope you have an even better New Year. We're not doing anything special for New Year. We're stopping home, and that's because A, we can't afford to go out, B, we haven't got a babysitter for the dog, C, we're not drinkers, and we just like to have New Year at home. We do. So yeah, it's been quite a quiet Christmas this year for us, and been very good to have our daughter home as well, because obviously with past COVID and everything, she hasn't been able to come home. So we've had her at home, which has been good. And with Christine being poorly in the past, you know, it's nice to have Chris and Sherry at home where they're not too poorly. Sherry's got a cold at the moment, but hopefully she'll get over that shortly. But it's nice to have her at home, especially after COVID and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to leave them to set, hopefully. So I'm just adjusting them very, very slightly, so I can try and get them as square as possible. And I'm not very good at being square, but we'll try and do our best. I mean, obviously, those of you who have gathered that these need painting, but they have been primed already. They are partly red, and they're going to be black. I think that'll do for them. Now they've held. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. Right, I'm going to move on a little bit now to some other little bits. So how are you doing, Alex?
Yeah, I've got quite a lot of flash on this pipe, so I'm just trying to carefully shave it back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good thinking. That I use one of them little tiny knives and for that sort of job.
You have got to be super careful, haven't you? Because these are really sharp and you'll just slice through it. But
that's right, yeah.
Just enough so you don't notice it.
Yeah. We've got Marvel Picks there in the chat. So hi, Marvel Picks. Hi, Todd. And we're not doing much of the chat tonight. We're just cracking on with our build as much as what we can. So just to get a few bits glued.
Right.
I've got Max Modz in there as well, and he says diamond painting boats come in very handy as glue pots. Yeah, they do. And I didn't know this was a diamond painting boat, though. I think it's just, I don't know what it is, to be honest.
I'm using one. I was looking for something to put my glue in, and I was like, oh, that'll do, because I've got loads of these.
Yeah, they do make good glue pots without a shadow of a doubt. Right. Hopefully that's set now, so that'll be all right.
Cool. I'm happy with that.
All right, let's get them bits stuck on. So I'm doing the so those of you who just joined, I'm not actually doing step 3, but I'm doing these bits here. So I've got the springs on. I'm going to put the tank straps on, and then these little bits in the corners, and then the engine will sit on there as well. So, and then I'm going to move on to the prop shaft, the exhaust, the front axle, steering, and a few little bits and bobs on there. Then we'll move on to the back axle, okay, and back springs, and hopefully we'll get them bits done down here as well. So for stage 3 of this magnificent truck. So yeah, Bedford's was well known throughout the world again. I probably don't have to tell Todd or anybody that what a Bedford is. I mean, yeah, Bedford truck, synonymous right throughout the world, as pretty much everything is. You know, when it's iconic like that. They used them in Malaya and Hong Kong, and you know, goodness knows everywhere. Bedfords there was worldwide. So now I'm just looking at my instructions and taking it steady because I found a couple of bits here. Yeah, it goes there, that way. Yeah, spring up that way, that way, that way, and that's the tank straps, I do believe. Don't actually tell you what they are, but they are B67, so they can be glued. So let's pop them out.
Let's get them up.
Seeing me glue is a bit difficult as well. I should be wearing them glasses, you know. I've got some glasses somewhere, but I'll do for the time being.
This doesn't want to fit.
Okay, let's double check this way. There's where they go, facing down. Yeah. So that's one. Okay. It's so satisfying that you're actually doing a little bit of something, and every little bit that we put on is getting us a little bit closer to getting this lovely model built. That way. Okay, sitting there nicely, hopefully. There we are. Still then a second or two. Yeah, that's them in there. Yeah, facing the right way. Okay. So I've got to find some corner bits now. F23 and B26. So this will be good because I'm not sure where they are. We'll have a look. So F sprue. So on the sprue here, we've got F in the top corner. So we're looking for, what is it? F23. F23, so it's there. Okay. So I need to snip that off. Where's my snippers gone? There they are. They're behind me. I did say snippers. F23. So snip that off there. It's like a little corner bit for the chassis, I think. So let's have a look at it. See where it does go. See if it needs a bit of dressing first. Actually, it does.
Did you have to shave your thing off?
Yeah, I've had to shave a couple of bits of plastic that haven't fit quite right.
Because I can see, I mean, there's a bit of a gap, but there's like a square that fits onto the square here, but it's just not having none of it.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. So we've got Blue Harvest toys in tonight as well. Got Christmas card from Mike Lane today with some cable extenders for the Knight Rider. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Rascals Hobbies is in there saying, "Hey, Chris D." So hi, Rascals. Eric, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're not bringing up the chat as normal. We're just saying hi to everybody as they're coming in. We've got Crafty Chris in there saying, yes, it is Mark, not good for diamond painted. Yeah, okay. Right, that's why I've got it then. Might be one of them that that tips over quite regular. Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? I know Chris likes a good stable bottom one when she's doing diamond paintings, so they don't tip up the diamonds everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've got that little bit to put on there now. That's been dressed. So let's have a look at the instructions. F23 goes in the corner. Okay, so keeping it that way up. And this little corner of mine. Now then, this is where I did question myself, because this chassis actually says cut these 2 bits off, and I left them on. And I can see now that they're not actually on there, so I do need to cut them off. So there is 2 on each of the end of the chassis, Alex, 2 like little rings that it says in step 2, I believe it is. Yeah, cut. In step 2 it says cut. So I will nip them off now. So there's one.
There you go.
And there's 2. Okay. You've your camera's frozen, Alex.
It keeps, the internet's going on and off all the time. It goes on, off, on, off. It's really frustrating. We are getting new internet. It should be activated tomorrow. So.
Right. Oh, good. Well, as you know, we haven't got any. We haven't got any weddings down here at the moment. Thank goodness, because obviously it's winter. But we're quite near a wedding venue, and it's been out in the sticks and everything. You like sharing the internet, you know, even though they're not paying for it.
Mm.
I'm not complaining. I'm just, I'm just moaning, really. So yeah, I think that needs a little bit more trimming. Doesn't that? That's it. There we go. So, and all these bits I will trim up with a bit of black paint when they're on. Okay, yeah, that's got that. Spin that over then, and let's see where we need to go from there. Okay, we need to spin that over, get that in the right orientation. Oops, need to turn the page of my instructions. Okay. So Russell's obviously saying he's off to go sledding. Have a great stream. Yeah, have a good sled, Rascal. And yeah, have a sled for us if you can. So yeah, what great fun sledging.
We don't get enough snow down here for any of that.
No, that's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. Right, I need my instructions where I can see them. So, got to get this part in there somehow. Oh, see, it's got a sticky out bit. It's got a sticky out bit. Where does the sticky out bit go? Does it go in there? I think it does. Okay, let's have a look. It's on the back end of the chassis, and that fits so that it fits in there like a little cup. Yep, that is correct. Correctamundo. Okay. So that is like a little cup it makes. Okay, yeah, clever. Oops. Okay.
He used to say we had snow back in the 80s, Alex.
Snow back in the 80s. By gum, back in the 80s, we had a bit of snow. Yeah, we did. You're right there. Now then, just where's them real ones so I can have a look? Ah, see. So, do they pop into a little? Yeah, they do. They pop into a little thing, do they? Yeah. Very clever. Okay. Very clever indeed. Okay, so I've got to glue that now.
Mine's ready to glue. I've managed to sort that out.
Where's my glue gone? All right. I think that was dried up in the pot, really. Come on, get in there. Just a bit of the CA glue. Okay, I'll have it a bit on there, I think. And it wants to go in that hole and on that bottom edge. Okay. Now what's happening with mine is the fact that it's taken the paint off, but that's okay. I'd much rather it do that actually, because then I can be pretty sure that it's gonna hold its own. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because it's going to take the paint off and then it's going to glue to the plastic. So we have to put these little caps on there like that. It makes a little hole for the spring to go in. That's one side. I've got the other side to do. So that's a B26 one cutting off next. And so a B, the B frame 26, there we go. Cutters. It's going to be very tight to get off. There we are. Put that down, then I can shape it slightly. Just take the old bears off. What's that old saying? Bear right? No, bear's never wrong, is it? Bear right. Just sort of dressing these bits up a little bit before I pop them on the chassis. They have been primed and everything, but they just want the little bears just trimming off them. Whoops. Come here. This is still alive, this one.
Right, that's drying.
Okay.
And then I need to get B3 and B2.
B26 goes in that one. Goes that away to make a cup. Okay, let's test fit it. That's going to want a little gouging out, I think. Okay.
I would like to know. Oh, there they are.
You'd like to know?
I lost my files.
Okay, so I need to trim this a little bit. This is going to be good. A little bit of trimming. Okay. See what that's like. Don't take too much off it, eh? Yeah, is it? Gently Bentley, and keep trying it. So he definitely wants to go more. He does. He definitely wants to go more. Yeah. So it certainly don't go that way, does it? No, it goes that way only. Okay. So I'm going to have to find my little knife now and gouge a little bit of the paint off. Very gently, that is. Very gently.
This is all coming together really nicely.
Jolly good. Oh, aye, it is. Oh, aye. So it is. Steve131 says hello, and they've had a good Christmas apart from Villa losing. Oh dear. Aston Villa. Dee's in there tonight. It says good job. I don't like footy. Liverpool and Man United in this house, Steve. Oh dear. Dear, dear. We've got Jay's channel in as well. Hi, Jay. And Ian Campbell says he remembers 5 feet of snowdrifts in the 70s and guaranteed snow over the winter every year. Yes, you could. If you're a certain age, Ian, you can. And you can remember pretty much when the seasons were proper seasons, you would get spring, where everything would be best now in flower. And then you would get summer, which lasted a very long time. Then you get autumn, where all the leaves were turning brown and the leaves were falling, and it used to take forever to get the land ripped up in autumn. Then you get proper winter, which we would have the snow every winter, as you say, and really cold and frosty mornings and nights with frost inside your windows. Yeah, I remember that. I've been there, done that. I've actually worked outside at 5 o'clock in the morning on a frosty winter's morning many a time. So out in the fields picking sprouts, because of course sprouts need some frost to make them good. And if you haven't had no frost on your sprouts are no good. They just tend to mush. So yes, frost on the inside of your windows. That's what I said, ladies and gents. It's unthinkable nowadays, isn't it? Yeah, when you woke up in the morning and you was under your covers, under your blankets, because we didn't have duvets in them days. We was under the blankets. You had about 5 or 6 blankets on your bed, and you used to make your bed into an apple pie bed so that all your blankets didn't come out, and you used to get tucked in, and goodness me, if your blankets came loose, you got cold, very cold. And you had to crawl out your bed in the middle of the night and remake your bed. Whoa.
Well, that's a big bit, isn't it?
What's that?
Part 6.
Oh yeah, it's actually the carburetor and the exhaust. It's the inlet and outlet of the exhaust, I think, and the carburetor and air filter, I believe. Oops, it's gone for a roll across the table. Come here. It's only a small bit too old as well.
Right. That's done. I'm just letting that dry. I'm just going to take these burrs off. Please excuse me just for a couple of seconds.
That's all right.
Sort this internet out because it keeps dropping.
That's all right. Yeah,
I'll
go back in if you want.
Yeah, I'll be a minute if that.
Okay, no worries. We're not going anywhere. Okay, don't worry. Right, let's see if we can get this in there now. I'm only struggling because it's a very small piece that I'm trying to pop in the chassis here. And once I get it popped in, it'll be grand. Let's get it popped in. The hole is not big enough. Come on. There we are. Spin that around. I wanted to get all this sort of thing done before I got any paint on, because obviously you're creating dust here and it'll go onto your paint if you're not careful. So obviously, you know, make sure your bits fit into your chassis and what have you.
Well, that's you have to, if you've got bits in your chassis.
Oh no, you don't want bits in your chassis at all.
Well, I'm back. I think it's fixed.
Jolly good. And we didn't talk about him, did we, much, guys? No, we didn't. Of course we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's going to be a devil of a job, is that one. So I'm going to have to do some more cutting of the chassis in there, I think. I think the problem is that I've got paint on it and glue at the same time, so having to cut out the glue, which is very hard, just to get this little piece into the side of the chassis. But you can see it's going to be very strong once it fits in there. Come on. Come on, my friend, come on. It's still telling me it wants a little bit more chopping out.
A few more bits going on. Really happy with that.
Jolly good.
It's looking a bit more like yours now.
Yeah. Yeah, sure is.
See,
so you're gonna
want to get on and paint, but I can't because it's raining. I can't prime this.
That's the frustrating part, isn't it? It's, you know, you get so far and then you think, oh, I'll have it painted, and then the weather starts.
Well, I really enjoyed, and those benefit of those that are just joined. Here's the wheels that I did again earlier. I'm really happy with them.
I'll get in there now. I think so. Oops. This is when it didn't drop off. Come on. No, it still wants a bit more off. Goodness me. Okay.
Well, now I've got to put the fan belt on.
Yeah, that can be quite fiddly.
Just use a pair of tights instead.
Pair of tights, yeah, well, that's what they used to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't do that these days.
No. No, you can't do that these days. Can't do nothing like that these days on the modern day cars. Oh, it's going. It's going. It's going. It is taking some doing, but it is going. Okay. Some cars you can't even tow them. Can you?
No.
When I first heard that, I said, "What? You can't even tow your car?" Nope, you can't tow your car. Rips all the gearbox to shreds and everything else. What? Never. Yeah, some funny goings on with motor vehicles in this day and age. Yeah, electric vehicles that will only do about 50 miles.
Yeah.
And electric vehicles that suddenly burst into flames and all that malarkey. Well, what's all that about? The cat got the batteries right. Right. Okay, I'm going to go for this now. Before my glue dries up. If it already hasn't done. That's there, it's okay. Right, let's get the glue in there. Come on, get into the hole. There we go. Alright, wish me luck, guys, and hope it goes in. Okay, come on. There we are. There we go. Alright, a bit more glue on the bottom half. Just under that. Okay. We all go quiet to make sure that it sticks. Like that, you see. Give it an extra push in. Just to make sure that it sticks. Let me look down there to make sure that it bonds. There we are. Right. Now let's see if we've got this the right way, guys. I think I have. Just gonna double, triple check. So that's this side, and it will go like that. Yes, that is correct. Correctamundo. It is. They're in nicely. They're in. That's on. And I won't jiggle that one just yet. I don't know that it's in. Right. Okay, guess what we've got to do now then? Well, it says about putting the engine in, but I'm going to actually turn it round and do the other corners. So we've got F22 and B24, and then we've got a little corner bracket in there for the exhaust pipe as well. The exhaust pipe. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's gone in nicely. The fan belt.
Oh, jolly good. It fit into a little square, that?
Yeah. Well, there's two. You got to line up 3 pegs, and you one at the bottom pulley, one on the alternator, and then you have to line up the hole at the top that goes through the fan into the pump.
Yeah.
And then glue it all in, but that went in quite nicely.
So Ian says, yeah, inside of windows, I had to be careful with the de-icer spray on the inside, laughing out loud, yeah. Steve131 says, at Dave, I tell the children how tough the 70s were. They don't believe me. Hey, kids, believe your dad, because the 70s was tough. Yeah, that was really tough. You don't know you're born, kids. You really don't. So the 70s was tough. So power cuts, strikes, shortages of everything, and then at the end of it, we've got a woman prime minister. So, and she shook the country up. She shook the country up no end. She did, and I'm not going to say a bad word against her because I think that'd be unfair. But she was Britain's first prime minister, and she did do an awful lot to, shall we say, help things along. And sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. And yeah, the 70s. If you lived through the 70s, you lived through an era which was pretty not dissimilar to the previous post-war era of the 1950s. So, which was a bit glum as well, because there wasn't much money around after the war, obviously. Not that I am that old, but yeah, we digress. So, Yeah, and Steve131 says Villa and Albion. Darth. Okay. Yes. Tell the children how tough it was in the 70s. By gum, lad. It was. Right. Yeah, remember the... I mean, we're going to go through that again, so we're going backwards in time a little bit now, aren't we? But yeah, remember the power cuts we had. It'd be for 5 or 6 hours or so. No power. No nothing. So, yeah. Cold, dark winters. Horrible with no power. Terrible. Said we didn't want to go back there, but it seems we're going somewhere near there with the recent additions of power cuts here, there and everywhere, or the possibilities of some power cuts, shall we say. Let's just hope it doesn't come to fruition. Let's just hope that they can sort out something, because as a kid in the 70s, it had a lasting effect on myself, and obviously those who went through the 70s were horrendous. Not many jobs around, loads of unemployment, loads of aggression around as well, with obviously all the strikes and everything. And yeah, not a very good time to be around. The only good part about the 70s is that we made it and we went through the 80s. So, and the 80s was pretty damn good. I think the 80s.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s.
Pretty damn good decade was the 80s. Pretty damn good. And the 90s were even better. And then we got to the noughties, didn't we?
Yeah, so I remember when I was young, there was no phones or anything like that. I was really nowadays kids get excited about games consoles and all that. I was over the moon at my birthday when I got my first electric cassette player.
Wow. The first electric cassette player.
Yeah, my first electric, because I used to have a Walkman that used to, and your batteries used to die and they were expensive. And then you'd be listening to something at a, not at full speed because your batteries are dying out. Electric tape player that you actually plugged in the wall and it was like something else. I was so excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember it to this day.
Yeah.
Then I used to have a set. You used to have to gingerly turn on because it was the same one with the power button. So you'd have to push the button in and then you'd have to like release the button out really slowly. Otherwise it wouldn't turn on. And it would take sometimes 20 minutes to get the TV on. But then once it was on, you just left it on until you go to bed.
I was going to say, did you ever get one of them TVs where you had to bang it on the top?
Yeah.
Come on!
Well, no, not quite, but this was similar with the button.
With a sticking button. See, we was quite poor in the 70s. We had a telly that we had to put money in. And we didn't have any money. We didn't watch telly because it had like a coin operated thing on the back.
Oh.
So.
Oh, you've gone.
Oh dear. What's happened to my camera? All right, I'll come back on in a second.
Okay.
I'll just try my settings again. Has it got a webcam? Is it not going to start the webcam? No. Okay, start the cam. There we go.
No.
Hopefully I've come back. There we are.
Yeah, you just said happy to in the late 70s we had the candles at the ready. We'd also only have 3 or 4 channels on the TV, and a remote control back then still had a wire from the remote to the TV. I remember. I don't remember the TV having that, but I remember my mum and dad's very first VCR had that. It was a big wooden thing, and it had a wire coming off of it to the box.
Yeah. And video cassette recorders in them days was so expensive.
Yeah, I had one.
Like, the first ones were like 400 or 500 quid. You know,
Yeah.
back then in the 70s, and you think, goodness me, you need a mortgage to get one of these. And so not many people used to be able to afford them. And then again, we used to rent them like the TV. So it come like as a package, that the recorder and the television had come as a package. And then of course you paid more money by putting more money in the slot at the back. Yeah.
Oh, I loved my. I got one a few years later for Christmas, I think it was, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just so weird. Like, I can record the TV. It was like a whole new thing. And I remember going to school, going, "Oh my god, I've got a tape player, a VCR." Right, and it was like, yeah, mad.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Then I had to go back because it was second hand.
Yeah.
They were still quite expensive then, you know, and
yeah,
he kept giving me electric shocks every time I put tape in it.
Oof.
Not like major ones, but they almost like just a really large static belt.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The casing. So
Yeah.
they took it back and they managed to get another one. And then that did the same thing. So whether it was just how they were.
Yeah. Ian says that radio rentals. Yeah, you had the front loader VCR. You were posh. Yeah. Absolutely. And front loader or the top loader. Yeah. Yeah. And then the Betamaxes were first, weren't they? The old Betamax ones, and they said that the Betamax was better than the VC ones, weren't they?
Sorry, I cut out again.
All right, the Betamax ones were first, weren't they?
Oh yeah, that was before my time. Them ones, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, good old days. Well, good old and bad old, really. I suppose in one sense, it taught you to be sort of thrifty and, you know, to value the things that you had and all that malarkey, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was pretty 100%. Good. Pretty good. It's unheard of now that you know, folks not being able to afford televisions and what have you. I mean, you know, they just go out and get them now, don't they? But in them days, God blimey, it was a massive luxury. A massive luxury. And then all the places where you could hire videos to watch. I mean, even that's pretty much unheard of now, isn't it? Hiring videos to watch.
Yeah, they've all gone, and they like Blockbuster and all that.
Okay, so we've got that one. So one more.
God, I'm really struggling to get this tiny little bit in. B14.
Oh, B14, yeah.
It's tiny. Look at the size of it.
Oh, yeah. It's very tiny, that one. It goes right in the side of the engine, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's not going. I'm trying to do a test fit before I put any glue on it, but
yeah.
there you go.
Oh yeah, Peter says our first TV remote used to sit in a hole in the front of the TV, and it used to be so heavy and whistled when you press the buttons. Yeah. And Ian says he remembers tuning the television with the little pressing buttons. Yeah, and if you pressed them in too far, they went past the program. Oh. And Peter says, now look at us. We're live to build our toys. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely live. We're, what are we, 7:30 very near on a whatever night is, Wednesday night. So, yeah.
God, wouldn't be doing that on dial-up, would we?
No.
We'd barely load a Google website.
And then Ian says he remembers one of his best toys was a stick of wood and a tyre. And he had so much fun up and down the road. Yeah, I used to make what they call bogies. Not the things that you get out your nose, but that's what they called them. A bogie was something with 4 wheels. If you was lucky, probably pram wheels, a couple of lumps of wood across it, and an axle that you used to steer with your feet, and a bit of rope. Yeah, and a bogie. We used to make them out of scrap. And we'd push each other on this bogie, either uphill or downhill, whatever. And if a wheel come off and you scraped your arm along the road or whatever, you didn't go crying to your mum because you just got on with it. So, right, I've got that one to put on there, and I've forgotten what number it is now. It is. And I can find it. It's not on that spray, is it? No. Have I cut it off already? No. Surely not. No, it's there. It's 24. Just double check. B24. Yeah, B24. Okay. B24. So you may be wondering how I spray these, and well, we obviously wash them, and then we get our gloves on like this, so save paint getting on your hand. So get your medical glove on, and you would hold the frame, and then that way you can twist the frame whichever way you want to obviously spray using your spray can. And that's how we would spray it. And then this bit which hasn't been sprayed, you can clip that to something to hold it to dry somewhere, probably on a lump of wood or something, on a shelf or something like that. So, and it'll dry. So that just gives you a quick idea of how we spray them bits. And I do the same principle for the Rootmaster bits. I think you've seen my double-sided sticky tape trick before on the underside of the panel. So I would hold it underneath the panel, and with usually my left hand, and then my right hand I'd be spraying. So, and then I'd be holding the panel, and I can get the panel either which way around. So, and I do each panel individually, and then I do the strips on a board with some double-sided sticky tape. So I put these strips on a board, and then I do the screws as well, and I face the screws downwards on some double-sided sticky tape, so I can spray the heads of the screws. So it's an easy process, really. It's just laborious when you've got nearly 3,000 screws to paint across. I'm just filing these bears off this, and then I'm going to see if I can fit this bit in.
Right, so my first part of my challenge tonight is complete. So I have a completed engine.
Well done. Let's just have a. Oh yes, indeed. Very, very good. Very, very good. So, are you? How are you going to paint that then?
I don't really know yet. I see what you mean when you said about the hole in the end of the gearbox. So that's brilliant to stick a cocktail stick in.
Yeah.
And then I can prime it. But I might do the fan blade silver. I might do the pulley silver if I can.
Right.
And then I'm going to obviously do the belt black. Probably do the engine black. And then I might do, like you've done there. I'm going to put a red rocker cover maybe. And
Red rocker cover, yeah.
Silver pipes. And probably similar to yours, to be honest, because that looks lovely.
Yeah. Well, any which way you like, really. I mean, I just took, as I said, but these basic colours off that ready-made Sunstar Bedford, and I thought, well, the look as though they look right, and they look good to me, so I thought I'll do them.
Yeah.
I've got to see if I can get this bit on the side of this chassis. This is quite challenging, this to me, but I suppose that the difference is that some of these are pretty challenging bits if you're not sort of used to it. This is a challenging bit to me, and I can see why you do need something just to poke out where the glue is and where the paint is on your chassis, because you really do need a hole for these bits to sit into, which is there, but it's filled in with glue and paint, so you have to unglue it and unpaint it in that hole to get that notch in on the side of the chassis, and it's quite difficult. Just for me anyway, but so I know it's early days yet, Horlixs, but what sort of marking would you give out for this kit so far?
Well, I think I'm going to have to say 10. It's certainly a lot easier than the Mini, but that was like, well, it seems to be as in the build side of it. But yeah.
I'm sort of thinking the same, that it's really good. The parts are really good. These bits are fiddly, but yeah, I've got elderly hands, of course, and so obviously that's not helping. But for ease of build or for the material, fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, that engine went together lovely, and I think it's nice that stuff actually glues, because I've done plastic kits before, and things just don't glue. You're like, why aren't you gluing? It's just plastic. But this, I mean, and I've tried all sorts of glues, but this is all glued together lovely. All the small parts are stuck in. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, good. Let's try that before I take it any further, I think. This is just a file and trial. File it and trial it, file it and trial it, until it actually gets somewhere near to fitting. So, but that's pretty good to me. I don't mind doing that. So it's just a bit of a pain when you can't get the glue to shift. Mind you, it's good glue.
Yeah.
So, you can't complain, really. It's just that the notch has got to sit in this little groove, and we've had to fill this little groove with a bit of glue to glue the inlet part of the chassis onto. So let's have a look at this again and see if I can shave this down a little. Oh yeah, maybe can. Difficult to hold as well with these bits, but you know, that's part of the course. It's not something I'm going to complain at all.
No. Alright, so that's that bit. So we've got this 2 chassis rails. They're going to be inside.
Come on, twist round.
So we've got to cut off these round bits, apparently.
Yeah, the nodule bits, yeah.
I guess that's for the different backs, depending on what model you're doing.
Yes. If you was doing the tipper, yeah, I'm going to have to put some more glue in there. If you was doing the tipper, you would need them bits in, wouldn't you? So for the body to tip back, or to hinge on, should I say. But because we're doing like a fixed back, chariot back body, we don't actually need them bits. Let's get that in there and down that way, and then glue the little bit on. Come on, twist it around the right way.
B73.
I didn't think he was that old. There we go. Yeah. Has it gone in? I think it's gone in.
57.
It has. Yeah. Does it need a little bit more on the edge? I think it does. Okay, there we go. That sealed it. Sealed its fate. Right, okay. Just hope it's set. Okay then. Right. Look down for a second because it's giving me a handache. On the small parts. Okay, so what do we have to move on to now then? Just a moment now. Can't move out the way. We have to move on to the exhaust and the front axle and the tie bar. And then we need the prop shaft. So let's have a look. Where's the front axle? The front axle is here. Okay. The front axle's been partly painted. Now the front axle, Horlicks, I did notice that you will have to look very, very carefully as to where the front axle is attached to the sprue, and that's because you do need a bit of the stub axle sticking out so you can actually get the wheel on. So, and what I've done earlier with this mass sprues is that if something's been held on by 4 or 5 bits of sprue, then I've gone around and I've cut so many bits of the sprue out so that like the exhaust there's only 2 bits of sprue that's holding it on. There's a bit of sprue there and a bit of sprue there.
Yeah.
The other 2 or 3 bits, I've cut them off already and then filed the joints as well to save me a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so be mindful over what bits is which and what goes where, and then you can do some minimum cutting and minimum filing. But having said that, the bits that I've just put on was a bit of a pain, to be honest. So I'm just filing the end of the axle now. Trying to get it squarish, so I can get the wheel somewhere like ready to go on.
So with yours,
yeah,
it says on the book here to cut the bits, right? So I've done that. I'm sanding it a bit.
Yeah.
Then you've got your 2 your bits there, which are there and there.
Yeah.
You've got another bit down here, look, but I've got two, but it doesn't say anything about cutting that off.
No, that's that's to be honest, that's the other way up, isn't it? Why is that one the wrong way up? Let's have a look. Can you see that bit of chassis anywhere else on the next page? Let's see if I've got two that way. I've got two that way. I've got two that way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got two that way.
So I'm wondering if that's got to be cut off as well at some point.
So, well, I've left mine on for the time being until it says cut it off, but that's where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not on here. It just shows the one. It just shows that bit there.
Yeah.
Which is there.
So it will be on this side. So is it?
And then there's another bit here that's not present on the actual manual.
I think you'd be pretty. Let's turn that back over again. Oh no, you can see it on page 5. You can actually see it on the bottom there. If you go to the bottom of page 5 and turn your chassis that way up, you can actually see it on there, just at the other side of the chassis. So your engine sits in there like that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you look just at the other side of the engine on your picture, you'll see it.
Yeah, but that's the first one there, look.
Yeah.
That's the one we've kept.
Yes.
But it's a bit out of proportion, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. You obviously don't keep them back ones.
Okay. Well, I'm going to, I think you're right. I'll leave them on until they get in the way, I guess, of something.
Yeah. I think it'll become obvious on the stages that I've just done.
Right.
That they are pretty much in the way. So I'm just going to see how these fit. Oh yeah, they just pop on there, do they? Yeah. Okay. And there is a bit of paint on there, so I'll take that off. See how that fits now.
Well, how did you do yours? Did you glue all of one side in first, then marry the other side up afterwards, or did you sort of go along and do them both at the same time?
Right. Yeah, I did glue one side in first, but what you have to do is try and get these uprights quite square and get them in the right place. So you're going backwards and forwards to your instructions quite a lot, getting the chassis in the right orientation as in the instructions to get your cross pieces in, because there's lots of holes in that chassis each side, isn't there? Yeah. So I would start either at the front or the back and then go along, but make sure that you double check on the orientation, because you've got to make sure you get them in the right holes on the chassis, and you've got to make sure that you get them the right way up as well. So if one of these is turned the wrong way around, it'll put all the rest of your chassis off, won't it? Yeah. So there is an underside to your chassis and there's a top side to your chassis. Okay. And the first one, if you went from your engine side, that's dipped down slightly. Yeah. And then the second one, it's got a cutout for the end for the gearbox.
Yeah.
So that's quite obvious that goes to the top. The third one is the concave part comes to the top.
Like that.
The fourth one, the concave part comes to the top. And the fifth one, the end one, is flat.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you was to turn it over, you'd see that the back one has got a hole in it. That one there's got a hole in it. That one there's right down at the other side of the chassis, and that one just wouldn't fit the gearbox, and that wouldn't fit the engine. So it's a case of flicking it backwards and forwards as to which side they go and what they do. But as I say, if you have it that way, and you have the front one where it delves down, you can put the front end of the engine in there, put the gearbox in that little cutout, so that sits nicely. Then that one's concave on top, that one's concave on top, and that one's flat on top.
Right,
okay.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I've got the orientations right, but I wasn't sure whether to battle gluing it all and trying to get it all together at once, or just gluing one side in first. But I think I'm going to do the one side first.
Yeah.
And then try and...
Yeah, I'm just test fitting this axle now into these springs and see if it goes a particular way. It does definitely go into them cutouts, which is very helpful. And so that's going to make it nice and strong when I can get them in there. That one goes that way there. Push too hard that it won't go in. Right, okay. So is that a bigger lug? Yeah, I think that's a bigger lug. That's a bigger lug. There we are. Yeah. So that's almost in there as well. Apart from it wants a little bit of cutting out. Brill. So it looks like the axle, I've got a bigger lug at one side than I have at the other side. Where's my knife gone? Yeah, Steve131 says, cool, I wanted the Revel Rootmaster, but Mr. Sunak took all my money, laughing out loud. Got a Tamiya Marder 3 in sale and jelly babies. Yes, I know. Tell me about Mr. Sunak. Yeah, he won't be struggling this Christmas at all, will he? So, yeah, it's just the way it is. It's sad for a lot of us. I mean, it's incredible how much electricity we're using. We have never ever used this amount of electricity in our lives before, and to be quite honest, it is killing us, you know. So obviously, you know, we've been trying to budget it quite a bit, you know, and just have low lights on, and you know, not have on the heating on too much. When you've got arthritis, it's very difficult not to have heating on, I can tell you. Very, very difficult indeed. So it's not pleasant. But yeah, I'm not sure that it's Mr. Sunak. I mean, yeah, Mr. Russian man across there, that he might be to blame more than anything else. But yeah, let's hope that next year's better for us. Let's hope that there's peace in the world, and let's hope that things start getting better rather than starting getting worse. Is all we can hope for, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll just trim that off nice and square. It's not trimmed off square. There we go. Okay. And that one. There's quite a bit of close work for me on this, but we're getting there. Yeah. Right. Big one, small one. So the big one goes this side. Okay. So when you're putting the front springs on, Alex, you'll notice that there is a little indentation in the front spring. And the indentations go towards the middle of the chassis. and the indentations are for the axle. Okay, because the axle sits in the indentations in the bottoms of the springs. And you'll know when you've got it right because they'll sit. All right, there's one slightly bigger than the other, and one slightly smaller than the other. Yeah, but again, we're test fitting and just seeing from there. So I need to do a little bit of shaving. So, especially in there, seeing a little bit that's rocking up, a little bit of flesh. Flash, not flesh. Bit of flesh. Oh, that sounds okay. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it's just catching on there, just that little tiny weeny bit. Just take that centre weeny bit off on that little bit. Okay. Yes, that's better. Okay. So now we can tell why I wasn't so bothered about not painting it just yet, because obviously I'm scraping little bits off to make it sit that little bit better on the model itself. Just little adjustments, because obviously plastic can bend and warp and what have you, can't it? Just that little bit. So get it to fit into that groove. Like get into the groove. Like get into the groove. Not that type of groove.
You got to prove your love to me.
Madonna, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. Chassis is glued. I think that looks right. I'll double check. So the box section at the back's got the shelf towards the inside. The cut's upwards, that's downwards with a hole in, and that is down, that's downwards. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And then the engine will fit in that little bit there.
Yeah.
And sit in there like that.
Yeah, that pipe doesn't go where you think it goes. It doesn't go through that hole at the side, does it?
No.
No, the little pipe at the front.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, don't go through that hole in the cross member, does it? That little pipe.
No.
But the little square bit sits into the little square hole.
Yeah, the square goes in. But yeah, you would have thought.
Yeah, you would have thought that pipe would have gone through there. But it doesn't, does it?
No. Well, I'm really happy with that.
Very good. Looks good. Looks great. So Peter Webster says, I have no choice with my electric. I need to keep my exotic animal house at a constant 28 to 30 degrees. Wow. Yeah, that is the problem, isn't it? So don't know what D's on about there, Steve. Couple of interesting items: a certain document, a personalised hammer and tape measure from Wee Man, and a load of the usual. See, right, it must be Christmas presents. I must have missed quite a bit of chat out there. So yeah, Christmas is a lovely time of year normally for giving, receiving, giving to family, and everything else, isn't it? But can also be a difficult time for some folks sometimes. So, okay, especially this year, I would imagine, with the price of everything. So I'm just going to have another look at this because I'm not 100% happy with this. I'm going to just shave a little bit off of my file. So there's just something on there that's not okay on that side, just slightly. Just got a few bears, not brown bears, but plastic bears. No, not teddy bears either.
Yeah.
You've got a bear? A bear what? No, not one of them neither. Right, let's see how far that goes.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm just gutted now. I can't prime these and get some paint on them, but
okay.
And I don't think, I don't know, I'm not sure I can put anything else on. I can't do any more on that till I've painted it.
Yeah.
The only thing I could do is skip ahead and.
Well, I'm gonna glue this axle on and see what I can do next after this. So once I glue this axle on,
The only thing I can do is assemble the prop shaft, perhaps, or then it's just I'm going ahead of myself and I'm just trying to see what I can do and what I can't do, and
yeah. Going to say if you're happy to go ahead and then do it, but if you're not, then you want to feel more comfortable, then leave it till a little bit later. So I'm just gluing this front axle on. You're still doing it a few minutes.
Are you at a bit where you think you're ready to stop, or do you want to carry on? Have you got more?
Let's have a look. I'm getting the front axle on now. So once it's stuck, there is the steering bar to put on, and the exhaust.
Oh, lovely.
But I can actually stop at this point if you're happy. What we've done time-wise?
I'm all right either way, to be honest, Dave. If you want to carry on and get the rest of that glued, then do it. Like, there's no limit for me.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of you. I mean, you've made some brilliant progress tonight, which is absolutely fantastic because you was well behind, and I've got quite a bit to paint here, so I can stop and then paint and then carry on with the other little bits to get to the bottom of this page off screen, if you like. Because I know that you're going to want to paint your axle, aren't you? Your chassis.
Yeah, I'm going to need to do that, but hopefully we'll have a dry day. I mean, if it's dry tomorrow, I can get that primed, then sprayed, and then prime the engine, and then what I might do is, well, I don't really want to do too much off stream, but because I just enjoy sitting there doing it, so I might if I can get that primed and the chassis painted black.
Yeah.
I could maybe get some of the suspension on like you've done there.
Yeah.
And then
you could get sort of up to where I am, or more or less up to where I am.
And then I can then maybe next time we do something like this.
We'll be starting from pretty much the same place.
Yeah, minus the paint. Obviously, I can sit and paint the engines or something.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously,
thoroughly enjoyed it.
I have enjoyed it. I absolutely enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, we're pretty much up to the same thing apart from paint, really. And I know you've got these little extra bits to put on your chassis, and I've got them to paint that's on the chassis. And I've got the front springs to paint and all these brackets and such like. But we are pretty much up to pretty much the same space as one another now. So, and I can see how the wheels fit on as well onto the axle. Onto the rear axle, I think they're going to be a little bit more different because they're going to have a bigger. Oh yes, yeah, I can see how they're going to fit on there. Yeah, that's okay. That's superb. Yeah, just had a look.
I guess they're going to be fairly free. Oh, are they? They're not going to be free rolling, are they?
No, they're not going to be free rolling.
We'll have to glue them on.
Yeah. But that's okay by me. I'm not necessarily wanting them to be free rolling.
No.
I want them to be, I want them to be just static looking. I think. I don't think you can actually twist them as well, so it looks like it's steering. I think they're going to be straight.
Yeah.
And that's it, because there's no way you can turn the kingpins on the ends to get your wheels to turn. So. They're going to have to be sat still in a straight line, but again, that's all right by me. I don't need them to turn anywhere. It would just make a little difference on the diorama as to where I sat them. But other than that, I think it's okay.
That's really good. I mean, considering what I was at this morning, when last time we spoke, we were looking at this.
Yeah,
I've done loads today, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where we've got so far as well.
And I was really worried because I've said this before. I really wasn't happy with the paint job on the wheels when I did the first ones.
Yeah,
but since going over them again, they've come up really well. So
yeah.
Todd's just said, I love listening to you guys work on these models while I work. Thank you both. No, thank you.
Thank you for coming along and supporting us in this way. Much appreciated. So I just want to show people roughly where I'm at on the instructions. So this is page 5, but the instruction 3. So, and I've got the 2 springs on. I've got it where I can put the engine in. I've got the 2 tank straps in, and then the 4 spring hangers on the back, and then the front axle. And I've got a little bracket to put in there to hold the exhaust manifold. And I've got the steering bar to put on, and that will complete them sections above there entirely. So then we've got on the bottom of this section, you've got the prop shaft, both ends on the prop shaft to put together. The back axle is both pieces of the back axle to put together. The rear springs, both rear springs to put together, and then the center shaft joint for the back axle, that's got to go in. The shaft for the prop shaft goes in the back end of the gearbox of the engine, and then to finish this whole stage off, stage 3, there's the battery and the running board on one side, and then the brackets for the running board on one side to do, and then that finishes this whole segment off completely. And then the next segment that we go to is step 4, and it's a small segment. That was quite the biggest segment that we go on, was the one we're on at the moment. This is the next segment, step 4, and that's going to be difficult for you to see on my camera. Step 4 is the fuel tank with the 2 ends and the top and bottom of the fuel tank, and then you've got to fix that to the tank bracket. You've got the other step and running board and joints to put on, and that's step 4. So that one will be quite a quick stage to do, And then before much longer, in step 5, we actually put the wheels on the chassis. So that brings us along very, very quickly indeed, doesn't it? With this build. So step 5 to me is quite a big stage with all these little bits going on to the chassis, and all the bits and bobs onto the chassis. And the next steps along, they seem a lot smaller to the steps that we're taking to actually get this built. So, and then obviously some of these stages we're going to have to paint before we glue.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I'm actually quite looking forward to doing the battery thing there, because I'm going to do that black.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try some dry brushing in silver to see if I can bring out the detail.
That's a good idea. And my confession to man is that I've actually got too much paint on man to do that, I think. And that's because I painted over the red. And that's because I oversprayed on the red where the wheels were on this sprue. And I painted these bits red because they got caught with the paint, and there's far too much paint on them, but there's not an awful lot I can do about them. Yeah. Apart from I could try and rub them down slightly, but I don't want to rub the Bedford off. And exactly the same as you, Horlixs, I wanted to pick out the detail of the Bedford on the little mat there at the side. It'd be a rubber mat, would that, in real life, which would be cast in the rubber mat would be Bedford, the Bedford sign, and you know, that would be picked out probably in silver paint, as you say. Okay, so yeah, that's the little running boards at the side. Okay, so do you want to go cameras up?
Yeah, I might try doing some dry brushing on some other bits as well, like maybe the bottom of the engine, and pick out some bits of detail somehow, and maybe on the gearbox and stuff.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I can't get my mouse to work. Come on, mouse.
Maybe it needs some cheese.
Yeah, maybe. I've got it to work.
Oh, Dave was asking what Todd was working on. Peter said, set up a mini paint booth in the house with a small extractor. Well, I'm in a shared house, Peter. It's not viable. I need to wait and do it in the garden, really. So, yeah. Peter says it's been enjoyable watching you both and having a laugh. Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Very much appreciated. So, and yeah, just something a bit completely different, and you know, just one project done between two of us, going to the same goal, really. Yeah, want to build this wrecker wagon, and no great rush. So obviously, you know, bits that we can do quite easily, and then as you see, we've stopped, so we need to paint some bits, and you know, we need to catch one another up, sort of thing, and then you know, we can start again when we do it again. So would you like to do it again is my next question to you all. So if I said to you this would run opposite Wednesdays to the Northern Model Builders, and so we've got Wednesdays once a fortnight free at the minute, because obviously we've got the Northern Model Builders on one Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday would be free, and then it would be Northern Model Builders, and then the next Wednesday would be free, and then it's the Northern Model Builders. So it would go like that. If we can possibly do it that way, we can see about doing that. If you want to do that, Horlixs. Yeah, absolutely. What I will say though at this point is, every other Wednesday is absolutely fine. However, times may change, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking Geordie Dave, Danno's work. So sometimes he likes to go live on a Wednesday to catch up on his Titanic and stuff. So, yeah, or Eddie Stobart, or whatever he's doing at the time. So, yeah. Yes, potentially. Yeah, that's great, but times may vary. So if they go on at 7 or 8, it might be a case we pop on at 9 for an hour if you're okay with that.
Yeah,
so,
that's okay. Yeah,
yeah,
that'll be okay. So Blue Harvest Toy says going to start my Lego now. Brilliant.
Oh, cool.
Legos. And excellent stream tonight, gents. Look forward to the next one, says Dee. And yeah, thank you ever so much, Dee, for coming along, and everybody else for that fact. So we've got, Dee says fortnightly, yes, and Blue Harvest Toy says, or every 2 weeks. Yeah, just the same, every fortnight or every 2 weeks. Yeah. I think we'll have to look at the schedule for the next one, because we've got New Year next week, haven't we? So I'm not sure when the Northern Model Builders is going. Is it the 11th? Something like that.
Look at the schedule, because I think I might have put it in.
I think we've popped it on there, haven't we, when the Northern Model Builders is going?
No, I haven't actually. So it's either going to be the 4th or the 7th. I can't. That we'll have to work out. But yeah, but there'll be another one. So just keep an eye out on the schedules and stuff. And when we come to an idea and we get back, we start the new year and get back to some normality. We'll have something in place. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it's nice to be able to I was terrified of starting this because I didn't want to mess it up, but actually I'm over the moon with how the wheels have come on, and I'm really happy with how these bits are glued together. I mean, to be fair, this is solid already.
Yes, it's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah,
I'm ready to start spraying this. Really, I would, but obviously it's absolutely raining cats and dogs outside, so
there's no way you can do it now. No, I was going to say I put cocktail sticks in different places in there. I put cocktail sticks in different places, and then I held it with cocktail sticks. So, but I made sure that the cocktail sticks wouldn't fall off the chassis. So might mean a little bit of PVA glue or something just to weld it on, through some of the holes. And then what happened then was, when I finished spraying it, I got the cocktail stick so it would stand up on some, so it wasn't standing on the floor on any surface. So it was just stuck up on cocktail sticks. So I've actually got some pictures somewhere, and I can't remember what I've done with them to show you what I mean, which might be helpful to people watching for various projects a bit later on. So there it is. Okay, so you might be able to tell that that's obviously the chassis, and you can tell that there is a cocktail stick at the front there. There is one close to the back, and there's one in the middle. And so the frame itself is not actually sat on anything apart from the edges of them cocktail sticks. So it's actually up off the floor a little. So that gave it a chance to dry and made sure that I didn't catch the paint. So that's how I did the chassis. Okay, so I just shoved some cocktail sticks in where I could in some of them holes, made sure they was nice and tight, then picked it up with a cocktail stick. And so imagine that, I picked it, and then I can twisted it round to spray, so of where I wanted it, and then very, very carefully put it down, and then did exactly the same with the black as well. Made sure that they were still in nice and tight, and then made sure I could put it down. But the edges of the cocktail sticks were sat on the floor rather than the chassis that was on the cocktail stick end. So, which just made things just that little bit more easier for putting it on a surface to dry. And it dries within no time, does this spray from Tamiya, so which is brilliant.
Sort of like that, and then you can spin it around.
And then you put various other ones in, so you can actually stand it until it dries. Otherwise, you'll be holding it for 2 hours until it dries. I'll get your hairdryer out and
Yeah.
don't melt it though.
No, that's it. No, so yeah, there we go. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that little stream.
So I certainly did. I saw something. Danno said, according to Geordie Dave, Danno says he's looking at next Wednesday.
Okay, that's cool. Just let me know again. I just need to know so that I can update the schedule for you, so that everyone knows.
Yeah.
So,
you do. Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be cool. We can work around things.
Yeah. Okay. So we've done the schedule a bit. Well, we haven't actually. We haven't told them what's on next on the schedule. I think actually it's Monday the 1st of January. Or is that the 2nd of January? 2nd of January. Monday the 2nd of January is the Disney Dolls House, and I think it's the two ladies. So I think that's Crafty Chris and Yorkshire Crafter on the Disney Dolls House, 7 p.m. on the 2nd of January. I was going to say November then. I was going to say November. 2 months behind. So yeah, 2nd of January, Monday evening at 7 p.m. Okay. So anything else than that, look in the schedule and it'll tell you what's. Okay, so I know we've had a lot in the chat tonight, and thank you ever so much for chatting in the chat. Me and Alex will have a look at the chat when the stream is finished, and we will look at all of what you've been saying to us. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to all the new people in the chat as well, because there's been quite a few new people in the chat tonight. Please subscribe to our channels if you don't mind by clicking the subscribe button, which is obviously free, and click on the bell notification as well, and that's the bell, and you'll get to find out what we're up to later on. And then in the description in the video below, which is the little upturned tick in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, so you'll find all the description to all our channels, to all our community, so like the Northern Model Builders, etc., and Crafty Chris and Max Modz and Danno's Universe and everybody else that's in the community. They'll all be in the description down below. So other than that, we ain't got much else, anything else to say, have we?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I could have carried on for a little bit, quite a bit longer, but you know, you get to a point where you can't do anymore because you know you build a little bit, then you've got to paint it, and you know, so it's not something you can do just. You know, even if you wanted to sit here and do a 24-hour stream and get this done, you just couldn't do it. Not with this.
No, because you rolled in things, and then you know, before much longer, you rolled in things that are either wet paint or wet glue, and you just get yourself stuck to it and everything. So you can only go so far. But
no, thank you very much. For your time. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Dave, with me and.
You're welcome.
Starting this new thing, and
thank you. I really enjoyed it. With me and kicking me up the butt and getting me started on this thing.
Yeah, same.
And I needed a good kicking to get it started. So yeah, brilliant. And I've not only got this one to do, I've got another 3 to do as well.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to get them as well, and then we'll just have to. No, I ain't got any members still, all of them, but they do look cool. But this was definitely my favourite out of
yeah.
I don't know why, just like it. I did have ideas of maybe putting lights in it, but until we get that far, I'm gonna have to have a look at it. And then I was thinking about putting a motor on the winch at the back. And then I had this other idea of getting another vehicle with a hook on, and then programming it to sort of lift the car up and down like it's going to tow it away, sort of thing. But there might not come to anything. But you can just imagine, you know, what's going from there.
Shut up.
So
there's nothing there.
Okay, well, I'm going to. Say goodnight then myself. and then get ready to play you the new outro for this show.
Well, over the moon with the intro. It's absolutely fantastic, and I bet the outro is just as good. So
a lot shorter.
All right. Well, it's a goodbye from me, and take care, everyone. Have a lovely new year, and happy new year to you all. And I hope 2023 is far better than 2022 was. So, and that's from me to you. So, yeah, best wishes to you all.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, happy new year, everyone. And yeah, no doubt we'll probably see you before then anyway, because you know what we're like. But no, if we don't, actually probably won't, because I'm away now Friday. So there's no show from me on Friday. Sorry, I'm not sure if I mentioned that. There's no VW Camper Friday. I'm going to be enjoying New Year's, New Year's Eve, and then New Year's, and doing all the celebrations. I don't normally do it, but I'm going somewhere, so that would be nice. So yeah, I won't be about Friday. So yeah, I probably will see you in the new year now. So
okay,
yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for the nice comments and etc. And yeah, we'll see you another time.
See you in a fortnight. See ya.